Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido, and today it is the Cinnabar Blazers going up against the Petalburg Razors here, as the Blazers are coming off a terrible loss. They were unable to get a win in their previous round, and the Razors also coming off their own loss are one spot from being in that last place position, whereas the Blazers are holding on to a spot in the top 5. So with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the Fire decks? Will it be the Colorless decks? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And having flipped heads, going first, it will be that early routes deck from the Razors, as they do place that Rattata down in the active spot. It's the Charmander for the Cinnabar Blazers with that Blazing Volcano deck. Both sides having no Pokemon currently on the bench, but the Razors do pull a potion. They've got the Fearow, the 2 Raticates, and the Pidgeot in hand, but nothing else that they can place down. It's the Moltres for the Cinnabar Blazers, and they've got the Pokeball, plus they've got that Professor's Research. They need to be careful of accidentally playing that Blaine instead, though, as they do pull the Magma from the Mythical Island set. They've also got that Genetic Apex Magma in their deck as well. They got the second Charmander plus the potion from the Professor's Research. They can start setting up this bench. They play down the Moltres, they play down the Magma as well. They are going to keep that Charmander in hand, but they set up the active Charmander, who goes with the Ember, doing that 30 damage, but unfortunately it does have to discard that energy. The Razors need a basic Pokemon, and they get the Pidgey. Fantastic for them. They can also evolve the Rattata into the Raticate as well, that can get off that 40 damage with that 1 energy required for it to use the bite, and it can outlast another attack from Charmander, as they play the potion as well, just to ensure it lasts even longer still. But here it is, going on its first offensive move, hitting it with the bite. Charmander has 20 health remaining, both these sides, as we said, having come off losses. It is the Charizard being pulled for the Cinnabar Blazers. They still need the Charmeleon, as they do opt to play down that second Charmander as well, and they need to think about how they're going to approach this. Now though, we're looking at that Magma. It does have to discard the 2 fire energies when it uses that Fire Blast, but it does do 80 damage. They use the Leaf. They're going to retreat the active Charmander and put that Magma into the active spot. There's the potion on the Charmander as well. Not quite ready to lose any points here. They put that first energy onto the Magma, and the Blazers send it back over to the Petalburg Razors, who pull an X-Speed, as they can get an energy onto the Pidgey as well. They still need that Pidgeotto so that they can eventually get that Pidgeot on line, as the bite now onto Magma cuts that health in half. It only needs 1 more attack from Raticate to take it off the field, as that second Pokeball for the Cinnabar Blazers is played, and they get that second Moltres out of their deck as well. And there's the second energy for the Magma. They are looking at that Pidgey in the backline as well, trying to decide how they may want to approach that, I guess. But this Fire Blast will take out the Raticate, and just for extra damage, they are going to play that Blaine. This will be crucial to the leaderboard, as much damage as you can do. 110 to take Raticate out of this match, and the Cinnabar Blazers do take the first point here in Game 1. That Pidgey being put into the active spot, and it is the Spearow being pulled for the Petalburg Razors. They do have that Fearow in hand as well, so they can start setting up the Spearow. They still need the Pidgeotto, but Magma needs another energy before it can start doing damage, whereas Pidgey straight away able to get that 20 damage onto the Magma. It is going to go back to the Cinnabar Blazers. They get their second Professor's Research now as well, and they are going to immediately play it. They pull the Leaf, they pull another potion as well. They are immediately thinking about using the potion here on the Magma. They opt to do it. They did hesitate for a moment, though. I wonder what they were thinking. They can also play that Leaf if they want to keep Magma safe. Sorry, no they can't. They already played the Professor's Research. They are going to put that fire energy down onto Magma. They don't know that there's that Fearow in hand for the Razors, as they pull that second Rattata as well. They've already got the second Raticate in hand. Here is the Fearow. It only requires 1 more energy. It can do 50 damage, which means it can take Magma out and get the Petalburg Razors their first point. They play the X-Speed, so there is no retreat cost for the Pidgey. It gets to keep that fire energy on it that the Colorless team have generated, and they are going to place down that Rattata as well. But here it is, the Drill Run. 50 damage takes Magma off the field. And they could discard a random energy from the Magma as well, but it is irrelevant because it has been taken out of this contest, leveling the playing field here in Game 1. Now the Blazers need to think about the approach they want to take, because that Furo can take out one of those Charmanders in one turn. It can take out this Moltres that has been put in the active spot in 2 turns, as the Genetic Apex Magma has been pulled for the Cinnabar Blazers. It doesn't have to discard any energy when it goes on the offensive, but it is not as strong as the Mythical Island variant. And they do get that first energy onto the Magma, but they send it over to the Petalburg Blazers. They pull the Professor's Research and they play it immediately, so they can draw 2 cards. They get another potion, they get another Furo as well. They still don't have the Pidgeotto to help get that Pidgeot online, but there is the Raticate being set up and another drill run from Furo, halving the health of this Moltres. Very impressive damage. And there's finally the Charmeleon being pulled for the Cinnabar Blazers. They can start setting up this Charmander line as they've got the Charizard in hand. The Charmeleon is put online. They play the Leaf for the Moltres. They're just trying to keep it safe here. They put the Magma in its place, who can outlast the damage from Furo. And here it is, the Magma Punch onto Furo. 50 damage, halving the health of Furo as well. The Razors have pulled the X-Speed. They've got that potion in hand as well, just to keep Furo safe from being eliminated by a Magma in the coming turn, and they can return the favor with that drill run as well to do that 50 damage. But it looks like they are going to retreat the Furo here. Potentially, you have to think they're going to want to put that Raticate in its place, who will do 40 damage onto the Magma. It has 80 health in total. And there it is, Magma's health being halved by that bite from the Raticate. The second Charmeleon being pulled for that Blazing Volcano deck, but they really need to start setting up this Charizard, because very soon they will not have much time to do so. Now looking at that Charizard and how they may want to approach it, but another Magma Punch onto Raticate, this time that 50 damage, but Raticate will be able to finish off Magma as they pull their second Pidgeot. They still don't have the Pidgeotto. There is another energy being placed down onto Furo. They're going to use the retreat of the Raticate to maximize their damage as they take the Magma out, as this is a best of 3 series, but all 3 games do count towards our leaderboard. There is the coin flip to discard the random energy. They get their heads, but more importantly, they get the elimination, and the Petalburg Razors have taken the lead. And they normally, with this early routes deck, do depend on the success of that Pidgeot, but they have not had to worry about it so far, as the Charmeleon is put in place for the Cinnabar Blazers. They get that second Charizard as well, but it requires 4 fire energy to be able to get online, and they have not got much time here, as they can use the Charizard onto the Charmeleon. It cannot survive 2 turns from this Furo, as the Blazers clearly know they are up against a wall here. They do put that Charizard onto the benched Charmeleon, but they really need to think about how to approach this next, and they are going to let the Charmeleon take the damage. They pull another Pidgey, do the Petalburg Razors, they put that online as well. Still no Pidgeottos, but there's that first energy onto the Pidgey, a drill run onto the Charmeleon from Furo. It only has 40 health remaining and a coin flip, and they get the Tails, which is great for that Charmeleon because it could not afford to lose any energy. But that Charmeleon won't be able to do damage. They need to evolve it now before they lose this game 1. They are thinking about how to approach this, but they do opt to finally evolve it into that Charizard. It needs to keep these 3 energy. It needs the 4th line. It's got 100 health. There's the second Spearow. Sorry, they've already got that Furo in hand. The Raticate gets another energy, and the drill run. If this takes an energy from the Blazers, there will be the coin flip. They need the heads. They get the heads. This is terrible for the Blazers because Charizard has just lost one of those fire energy that it desperately needs so that it can go on the offensive, which means this Furo can finish off the Charizard in the next turn. All the Blazers can do is potentially delay this because they will take 2 energy to retreat the Charizard. And they do put down that energy onto that active Charizard. They are going to be able to do nothing. It is going to get sent back to the Razors, and they will take game 1 here in impressive fashion. They can play that Professor's Research, but they're not wasting any time. Full respect to their opponent. The drill run takes the Charizard out, and the Petalburg Razors get that first point. Even with the coin flip being activated, it does not matter. They have taken the game. We will have a table reset as these 2 sides will be bringing their second decks online shortly. And it is game 2 with that initial coin flip. The Cinnabar Blazers will be going first as they are going to be using that Basking Sun deck going up against that Safari Zone deck. We see the Larvesta being put down in that active spot for the Cinnabar Blazers. It's the Lickitung being put down for the Petalburg Raiders. The potential for the amount of damage that Pokemon can do, but it does require 3 energy to get online, 2 for the Larvesta. The Professor's Research being pulled for the Cinnabar Blazers. They need another basic Pokemon. They've got the Salazzle in hand. They pulled the Salandit plus the Sabrina as well. So they are going to put that Salandit immediately online as that Salazzle is in hand. They end their turn and they do send it over to Petalburg Raiders, who do pull the X speed, and they have that Tauros in hand that they immediately put down on the bench. They've got the 2 Giovannis and the Leaf, but there is the first energy onto this Lickitung. It is a coin flip where for every heads it does 60 damage, but as soon as it gets a tails it stops having coin flip, so it could do 0 damage as that Salazzle can be set up. They are going to put that fire energy onto the Salandit by the looks of things. And they have the 2 X speeds in hand, do the Cinnabar Blazers, so they can retreat this Larvesta as soon as they choose to as well. But they do end their turn after evolving that Salandit into the Salazzle, and they pull the Chansey, do the Petalburg Raiders as it comes back over to them. And they immediately opt to place down the Chansey, getting that second energy onto the Lickitung. Still at full strength, neither side has done any damage here in game 2 as it does come back to the Cinnabar Blazers. Pulling the Giovanni, again they've got those 2 X speeds, it requires 1 more energy for Salazzle to start doing damage. As the Sabrina is played from the Cinnabar Blazers, the Razors do opt to put Chansey into that active spot. They don't want to have to deal with the Lickitung right now, do the Cinnabar Blazers. But there goes that first X speed, and here is the second one. This is going to afford Larvesta to have a 0 retreat cost, so it doesn't have to give up any energy, and that Salazzle can go into the active spot. All it requires now, as we see happening, that second energy being put onto it, it can go with the Fire Claw, 60 damage onto this Chansey, immediately halving the health that the colorless type does come online with. And it is the Dodrio now being pulled for the Petalburg Raiders of this Safari Zone deck, but there is that third energy onto the Lickitung. The Leaf supporter card being played by the Petalburg Raiders. Chansey will be retreated back to the bench because they also play the X speed, allowing it to have 0 retreat cost. It is normally 3. Lickitung is back in that active spot. It is a coin flip, continuous lick, 60 for every heads. There's 1 and 2, and it gets to the potential though for that to continue going, but 120 to take this Salazzle off the board, and there is the first point in game 2 for the Petalburg Raiders. This Lickitung has the potential to take down any Pokemon in 1 turn. It is a huge threat, but it is that Larvesta now coming back online for the Cinnabar Blazers. They pull their second Sabrina, and they are going to need to avoid 2 heads from this Lickitung, but they are going to play that Sabrina, immediately sending the Lickitung back to the bench. Again, they don't want to have to contend with that Lickitung right now. They need to set up their own forces. Tauros this time though, coming into the active spot, only requires 2 energy to go on the offensive, as the Kangaskhan is pulled for the Petalburg Raiders, being put onto the bench immediately. And there is the first energy for the Tauros as well, does 50 damage with its offenses, as the Volcarona has been pulled for the Cinnabar Blazer. It requires 3 energy. Larvesta only requires 2. It can go on the offensive here with this combustion. It will only do 30 damage, however, to the Tauros. Volcarona can do 80 damage to any of the Petalburg Raiders Pokemon, including their benched Pokemon, which could be that Lickitung. As the Sabrina has been pulled for the Petalburg Raiders, there's no bench for the Blazers though. Tauros gets that second energy, plus the Giovanni supporter card to give it that extra 10 damage, as it is going to do this horn attack, 60 damage to Larvesta. It has 20 health remaining. The Blazers are surely going to evolve it now into the Volcarona as they pull their second Larvesta card as well, immediately getting that online. But there's the third energy for that active Larvesta being evolved into the Volcarona, so now it's going to have 60 health as well. With this Volcanic Ash, it does have to discard 2 fire energy, but it can attack any of the Razors Pokemon, and they opt for the Tauros, getting their point back, so it is now a 1-point game between these 2 sides, both needing 2 more to take the win. But if the Razors get the win in this game, they will take the series, but again, that game 3 still counts toward the leaderboard, as the Razors pull their Professor's Research card as well, immediately playing it down so they can draw 2 cards from their deck. They get the second Dodrio, but they finally get a Doduo in hand as well, immediately playing that down onto that last bench spot, and Kangaskhan gets its first and only required energy. Here is the continuous lick, and it gets the heads, gets 2, 3, gets 3 heads to the Petalburg Razor, 180 damage to take that Volcarona off the board. They only required the 1 heads, but they got that extra damage, and again, that gets counted towards the leaderboard. That could be the difference that gets a side in the victory road at the end of season and potentially becoming our champion deck. As La Vesta put into that active spot, it will require 2 heads. It is the Volcarona being pulled as well, but again, we know that it requires 3 energy to go on the offensive, and it won't change how many heads Lickitung needs to flip to take out this La Vesta or Volcarona. It only requires 2. The second Tauros being pulled for the Petalburg Razors as well, and they are going to evolve that Dodoro into a Dodrio. And Chansey getting its first energy of the game. The continuous lick though has been great for the Petalburg Razors, and this time it gets a Tails immediately, so it is going to do 0 to the La Vesta. The Blazers are able to take a breath for the meantime, but this is still not good. They need to get this Lickitung off the field. Heatmore being pulled for the Cinnabella Blazers as well. A second energy being put onto La Vesta. They're not even going to worry about putting that combustion onto the field. The Heatmore onto the field, but they do go with the combustion onto the Lickitung. It has 60 health remaining. It will still be able to go on this coin flip offense as the second Kangaskhan is pulled for the Razors. They play the Giovanni as well just for that additional damage. They need 2 heads though to get this flip. They get 1, so the Giovanni will be counted. They get 2, 3, 190 damage thanks to the Giovanni. And the Petalburg Razors have taken game 2 in a powerful way with those coin flips from the continuous lick, and the Razors take this series as the Blazers drop game 2. But this game 3, they need to redeem themselves and get back a few points and try and get some scores on the board. They do take the heads to the Cinnabella Blazers as they're playing their Rapid 9-9 deck. They'll be going first against this Wake Up Call deck of the Petalburg Razors. It is Growlithe being put into the active spot against the 2 Farfetch'd from the Petalburg Razors as we start this game 3. They've got that Professor's Research in hand as they pull a second Ninetales, 2 of them plus 2 X speeds in hand. They play the Professor's Research, and the Blazers pull the Ponyta, both the Genetic Apex and the Mythical Island variant. They have both of them in this deck, as well as the same for the 2 Rapidash that are in this deck. They do play the Genetic Apex version and send it back over to the Razors, who pull that Minchino, immediately placing it down. But this Leak Slap from Farfetch'd is going to do 40 damage, immediately going on the offensive. Growlithe only has 70 health, so another one of these will take it off the field. However, fortunately, they do pull the potion. They do play it. It gets that health back to 50 for the Growlithe. That Giovanni is in hand for the Petalburg Razors. Not that the Blazers are aware of this, so it's not good for them. They get an energy onto the Ponyta, and they play the X speed, so they're actually going to retreat the Growlithe. A very smart play, as this Rapid 9-9 deck can go with those fast retreats. They play down the second Ponyta as well, and Ponyta in the active spot goes with the Flare, doing 20 damage to the Farfetch'd here. And it comes back over to the Razors, who already now pulling the Chinchino. They can evolve that Minchino, and it requires 3 energy to do that wave. 30 damage for each benched Pokemon on the side of the Petalburg Razors as they play the potion to restore the health of Farfetch'd back to full strength, and another Leak Slap, this time onto the Rapidash. 40 damage, chipping away at all the Pokemon the Blazers have been putting out so far. But they pull the Vulpix, and again they've got those 2 Ninetales. As soon as this gets set up, it can do 90 damage to the colorless Pokemon as another Flare from Ponyta. They're not even worried about retreating it as they get their first energy onto the Vulpix. A second Chinchino for the Petalburg Razors, and a second energy onto that active bench Chinchino. But there's the Leak Slap from Farfetch'd to take Ponyta out of this game, and again the Razors taking a point from the Cinnabar Blazers. But here it is, Vulpix is online in that active spot. They pulled the Arcanine as well, but there's the second energy. Ninetales, 2 energy to do this flamethrower, 90 damage. It does have to discard a fire energy to do so, but they can just keep activating it every time. That Farfetch'd is taken out of this matchup. These are the quick, rapid successions that this Rapid 99 deck can go for. The Razors, with their wake-up call, can sometimes take a bit longer, and they haven't been pulling that many basic Pokemon to help get Chinchino online. As they pull the Wigglytuff, no Jigglypuff in sight though. They put that Farfetch'd on, the second Farfetch'd online in that active spot. It will be able to do 40 damage to this Ninetales here, as they are clearly thinking about what they're about to do. They're looking at the Chinchino, knowing it would only be able to do 30 damage itself if it were in that active spot, so they opt to go with the Leak Slap on this Ninetales, but Ninetales will immediately be able to retaliate. The Razors need to pull a Professor's Research so they can get 2 Pokemon after that, but here it is, Ninetales' second energy, and it is going to go with that Flamethrower and the Blaine for 120 damage. This is going to be massive, getting those points that the Blazers need after taking some massive damage from that Lickitung in Game 2. They're trying to bring that back just a little bit as the Chinchino put into the active spot. There's no bench Pokemon for the Razors at the moment as they finally pull that second Minchino though. And they do have the Giovanni in hand, but unfortunately this will only do 30 damage plus the additional 10, so 40 damage. Ninetales will be able to hang on, which means the Razors do not look like they'll be able to take the clean sweep as the Blazers do pull that Rapidash from the Genetic Apex deck. They immediately get the energy onto Ninetales though. They're not messing about, and that Flamethrower is going to be a one-hit wonder. Chinchino is taken out, and the Blazers are able to get a little bit of redemption here in Game 3, but not after a terrible loss that has made them move all the way down the leaderboard. The Razors up into the top 5. But with that said, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought the best card was. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, send thanks, and I'll see you when you see me.